Hello, welcome back. Sorry I've been off for a few weeks. I've been sucked into a couple of video games that came out. Assassin's Creed Shadows, I played through, put like 80 to 100 hours into that one. So yeah, I've been video gaming. But while I was video gaming, I realized that I wanted to start my battle royals over from the beginning for multiple reasons. One, because I want to do it properly this time instead of having all kinds of random movies. I'm going to do some themed ones and all kinds of shit like that. And then I took it from 20 down to 10 per episode because it's too hard to watch 20 in between episodes. It's basically, I just gotta have movies on just endless basically in order to hit 20 every few days. So I brought it down to 10 per episode, and after my 10 episodes, my first 10, I'm going to do the winners against each other, just like before. I'm gonna put the winner of each of these first 10 episodes against each other in one episode that's a King of the Ring, and go from there. I already have my first episode completed, and this very first episode is werewolf themed. Every single one of these movies are going to be werewolf movies that don't include vampires. They're just strictly werewolf movies. And I had a ton to choose from in my collection. I probably had around 30 probably, and I chose 10 to watch. Some of them were first time watches. I watched all of them within the last 4 to 5 days, all 10. And I will get right to it. So thank you. I'm gonna do this properly this time. And I'm going to continue doing this for the rest of the year. I'm just gonna knock out 10 movies an episode, and I can get my episodes up quicker, and because there's less movies, and I'm gonna theme them all. And there's also another reason too, and it's because I use my iPad to record, and I don't have enough space on the iPad to record extremely long videos. So I found like myself having to talk a lot less about each movie when I was doing 20. Like I just have to basically hold it up, say one word, be done. And I'm not a fan of that. I like to talk a little more about each movie. So I thought if I broke it down to 10, I can give some extra thoughts on each movie and go from there. So I'll show you the 10 werewolf movies that I picked and that I just watched. First up, we have Dog Soldiers, going right in here. Can't remember how to put these in, it's been so long. Next up, we have Red Riding Hood. I'll give my thoughts on these as I eliminate them. Next up, we have The Howling. Next up, from this Hammer horror collection, we have The Curse of the Werewolf. Next up here, we have Howling 2. Next up, we have The Wolfman from 2010. Next up, we have Werewolves. Silver Bullet. Wolfman from 2025. Is this 2024 or 2025? 2025. So this came out this year. And then last, I'm going to be entering from my Universal Monsters book here, I'm going to be entering the original The Wolfman from 1941. Now, I don't know if this is going to fit on in the ring, so I'm going to have to set it right on the ropes, like a so, and hope for the best. Obviously, as things get eliminated here, I'll showcase off what I have. And actually, first up, it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to show this off because my daughters always make me really awesome birthday cards. They make them themselves, and every year they make me an awesome one. I have like a collection of them all over, and this one is Lord of the Rings themed, which is one of my favorites of all time. And they even made a little window on it that opens up. It says happy birthday underneath. It's obviously a hobbit's house in the Shire on the front there. Freaking excellent. Just love that. And then on the inside, they put all kinds of nice pictures. They drew me a little Gandalf smoking his pipe. And then the sayings are all really nice too. And then because it was my 40th birthday, they put "You shall not age," which is just phenomenal shit. This card is fucking excellent. It's the pictures too. Bring back memories. Bring me down memory lane here. It's crazy looking at pictures of me and Kayla when we gave birth to our first daughter, Samara, because we're teenagers in the hospital, and I look like a little kid, and so does she. But yeah, beautiful cards. My daughter's blows my mind every year. I don't know how they're gonna outdo themselves next year though, because this is pretty epic. But we'll see. All right, back to this werewolf ranking. So, like I said, each one of my episodes I'm gonna theme, and it's gonna range all over the place. They're not gonna just be horror movies, obviously. It's gonna be all kinds of things. One episode might be themed like an actor. One episode could be themed a director. One episode could be themed all kinds of things. So, just gonna do one at a time and not get too far ahead of myself, and don't overwhelm myself. So the episodes will come out after I finish watching all 10 movies. No skipsies. So, first up here, in last place, I ended up putting, and I'm guessing not too many people would be surprised by this pick, but it's Red Riding Hood. Right there in last place. This is just the Blu-ray. Don't think it's got a 4K. Comes with a digital disc, which is funny. A digital copy on a disc. Comes with the alternate cut, it says. But it's literally like 30 seconds longer than the theatrical version. I've watched both cuts. It's just a couple scenes at the end, and it's no different. Exact same. So I don't know why they're trying to pass that off as special. Silly. But yeah, this is. I'll start out here. This is the lowest one in this ranking, and I gave it a 2.5. So I'm starting this top 10 out with a 2.5 out of 5. And I can understand if somebody watched this and was like, this is like the shittiest werewolf movie I've ever seen. I can understand that opinion. And then I could understand if somebody liked this more than me and it was higher than 2.5, because it's fun. It says right on it from the director of Twilight. It does feel like a Twilight movie, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I like the music. There's a cool storyline. There's a lot of shitty dialogue. That's my biggest problem with it. Same with the Twilight movies. But my biggest problem is the dialogue in this. It's just It's one of those movies that it feels like it was written by like just an amateur writer. Or, sorry, I'm just getting over a cold. Nasty one. But anyways, yeah, writing's kind of shit. But yeah, you got Gary Oldman, Amanda Seyfried, Billy Burke, Shiloh Fernandez, Julie Christie. It's got a stacked cast, and I'm gonna be honest, the acting's all pretty solid. Like I actually enjoy the acting, and I like the sound. I like the music. The look of the wolf is okay. CG, obviously. I'm I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of CG werewolves. I don't mind them. I love not like practical as well, but it's it's a decent watch. Just don't expect a lot. If you don't own it, like I recommend picking up all 10 of these because it's like 2.5 out of 5. That's should be in your collection. And then let's move on from that one. Next up in 9th place, and this is going to be some blasphemy for some people, I am eliminating from my Hammer horror collection here. Awesome collection too, by the way. If you don't own this collection, grab it. You get 8 movies for a reasonable price, like the price of 2. And it comes with all 8 movies. I won't tell you all the movies, I'm just dealing with the one. It comes on the first disc here, Brides of Dracula and The Curse of the Werewolf. This is from, what, 1961? It doesn't say on the outside, but I'm pretty sure it's 1961, this movie. And I gave this a 2.5 as well. And on Letterboxd, I noticed that everyone I follow had this higher, the people that have seen it. And the reviews have this movie much higher than my 2.5. But for me, it just didn't deliver enough werewolf. Like, I love the classic gothic feel of it, the castle settings. I love the small village settings. I love the feel of just classic Wolfman, and the Hammer gives its own take on it. It starts out with a little boy growing up, not knowing what he is, and his parents suspecting weird things, and then it has like some cool scenery with the little kid, but nothing really happens, and then it cuts to him as an adult, and he's going out on his own. I love that scene. He's just like, it shows him just walking down from his house, from his farm, and he's just going out on his own. And there's some intense scenes where he's like, doesn't know he's Wolfman, basically, and he's freaking having fits, and there's some good scenes there, but they just don't give you enough Wolfman. It's just a little bit in the final act, and to be honest, it isn't that, what happens isn't that exciting. It bummed me out a little bit. But it's still a 2.5 for the setting, the score, the acting's all really good. And giving your own take on classic Wolfman, like, it's still worthy of a watch. I would definitely check it out. And like I said, definitely pick up this, because it comes with 8 Hammer horrors, and everyone I've seen on here so far are worthy to be seen. Alright, where am I going next? I'm going to jump over to Vinegar Syndrome. I just got the standard 4K here of Howling 2. They call this Your Sister is a Werewolf. I think it has some other titles too, like Wolf Bitch or something, or Werewolf Bitch or something. I can't even remember. But there's some other titles here. Starring the legendary Christopher Lee, one of my all-time favorite actors. Love his voice. It just comes with, well, actually, sorry, I was going to say it just comes with the 4K because I didn't even take this book out. So I only seen the 4K disc here, but it actually comes with a Blu-ray of it as well, so it's both. Um, don't know about reversible art. Yes, we have the classic reversible art as well, which is cool. I'm going to go with the new stuff, though. Just because it doesn't have a slip cover. If it has a slip cover, I usually flip it around because I like my inside to be different than the out. Beautiful looking. Oh, comes with a little booklet here. Vinegar Syndrome always goes all out on their releases. Like they do excellent restorations, like the best they can with what they're working with, obviously. Yeah, it's, I don't know why I'm showing you all this. It's just writing about the movie. Now this was a first time watch. I just picked this up a few weeks ago. It also stars Sybil Danning. She's on the cover here. This movie is all over the damn place. I gave this a 2.5 again. And I know this, it might be ridiculous that this is above Curse of the Werewolf, but I had more fun with this. It's just so batshit crazy. It's like they don't really know what they're doing. They're just throwing everything at the camera. There's giant werewolf orgies in here. There's Sybil Danning ripping her shirt off to show her big boobs. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. Am I allowed to say big boobs on YouTube? And they really highlight that in the final act. Or not the final act, the credits. So I gotta jump to the credits here, because the credits, I think this was at a 2. Because of these credits, I think I bumped it up to a 2.5. It jumped above these other 2 movies just off the credits. So there's a scene in the movie where she just grabs her shirt and rips off her shirt and her boobs are exposed. And she, in the credits, as they're rolling down, they just keep showing that scene. She'll rip it off, and then it'll cut to one of the actors, and they're smiling. And then it'll cut back to her, she'll rip it off again, it'll cut to a different person, and they're smiling. And it does it, honestly, like 30 times throughout the credits, just constantly. And then it does it in slow motion, where it's just like super slow. I was like, what the fuck? This is epic. So, for that alone, worth the price of the purchase. Like, quite crazy shit. As far as the movie goes, it's just a group of werewolves. It doesn't really give you much, like, where they are, why they're doing what they're doing. It's not a whole lot of storyline. It's just like Christopher Lee shows up to this town, this girl's sister, they're at a funeral, the movie starts, and this girl's sister just died, and Christopher Lee says she was a werewolf, and he's here to hunt werewolves. And basically, it's just cuts to scenes of them hunting werewolves and the werewolves doing it, and then they'll kill somebody, and some of the transformations are cool, some are really terrible. It's a must-see, honestly. For any fan of just lower budget, just cheese fest, this one I think will satisfy you. There's some pretty cool scenery, some weird ass shit, an ending that I don't fully grasp. It's fucking odd. But check it out, Howling 2 from Vinegar. No, I actually got this during their last sale they had. It just showed up really, really late. It takes forever for Vinegar Syndrome movies to ship here in Canada when you order on a sale. Like, I had one shipment, and it took almost 4 months to get here. I was like, are you kidding me? I know I ordered a ton, so they must have had to bring it from all over the place, but it was like 4 months. Like I forgot what movies were even in it by that point. But anyways, uh, I forgot to bring my book that has my order. So 1 second, I don't know what I have, what I eliminated next. It's right here. Yes, there it is. All right, I got the order right so far. And then next up is Werewolves. This is from 2024, last year, the end of last year it came out. Stars Frank Grillo and Katrina Law. One or two other people, but I wouldn't know them by name. Werewolf action movie. How do I explain this one? This one's sitting really low on most people's lists. Like, people didn't really like it that much. I had some fun. Like, I think I gave this a 3. On Letterboxd, I'm pretty sure I gave this one a 3. There's some fun to be had here. Maybe even a 3.5. I can't remember. But if you like action, just weird action movies, and you like werewolves, it's an action werewolf movie. Like, it's kind of exactly what it is. It's I don't know how much deeper to go. I'll spoil a little bit, I guess. It's basically The Purge. What happened is there's this global event that took place with the moon, and it's turned the whole world into werewolves. And this is at the beginning, and it tells you like a year ago this happened, and over 1 billion people were killed. So then it cuts to the night before it's about to happen again, and everyone's boarding up their houses, everyone's getting ready. The only way you can turn into a werewolf is if you look at the moon and you're exposed to it, and then that's what makes you do the switch. And so, fun, just regular storyline going on there. Never seen that before. And then it just turns into a straight up action movie. Like, Frank Grillo and Katrina Law are trying to get from point A to point B, and there's werewolves in between. And one of the highlight moments, I think, of this whole movie is a punk werewolf shows up. It's got the jacket on still, with the leather jacket, with the spikes on it. It's still got a piercing, a hoop piercing in its nose. It's got earrings sticking out. This thing bumped this movie up for me. Just a single werewolf. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Punk werewolf? Like, this is awesome. But there's so many story flaws. There's so many holes. There's so much wrong with the movie. But if you just go into it for fun, just to have a good time, don't overthink it. Just watch some werewolf action, basically. You'll enjoy yourself. It ends with Frank Grillo. There's a scene with Frank Grillo without his shirt on. And I could not stop laughing that they decided to put this at the end. It's fucking hilarious. But I do have to say one thing. My friend Sam from over at Our Life in Horror, we were talking about this a few weeks ago when they came over here, and she really liked the movie. Now, I hadn't seen it yet, so I didn't get to ask her. So I'm gonna probably message her tomorrow about it, unless she watches this episode. So if you're watching this episode, Sam, I don't know how you could possibly like this movie. I'm gonna call you out on it. I can't get it because you don't like action movies. And this is just an action. This is like every Liam Neeson, Jason Statham, Frank Grillo. This is like every action movie I've ever seen, but they just throw werewolves in instead of like other people. But And when I was watching, that's all I could think of. I was like, Sam really liked this. This is weird. So was it Frank Grillo? Was it? Anyways, three and a half. I had a good time with it. And then next up, we have the newest take on Wolfman. I love that these three Wolfman movies I included all have different. You do it differently with the title. This is just Wolfman separated, the wolf and the man. The other one's The Wolfman, all one word, and then the original's The Wolfman, but separated. So the three different ways of doing it, which is pretty funny. When I was putting this together, I was like, fuck, I wish there was 10 Wolfman movies. It would have been funny as hell to just pull one out and be like, Wolfman. Next up, we got Wolfman. Wolfman 10 times. Be fucking hilarious. But here we go, from Blumhouse, and I can sure tell this is from Blumhouse. The director of The Invisible Man what's his name, Lee Winnell, had some high expectations. I hadn't seen a trailer for this. I was thinking, ooh, a new Wolfman. This is nothing like the other Wolfman movies. I'll get that out. I gave this a 3.5 again. There's a lot of terrible dialogue. As a matter of fact, when I was watching this movie, I was thinking to myself of how much better it would have been if they just made it like a silent, like no one talks in this movie. Because every time someone talks, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, it feels like Blumhouse when they're writing their script sometimes, most of the time, that they just, like, put the idea into a computer and the computer just spits out lines for the people to say or something, and then everybody just holds up the piece of paper behind the camera. Like, it's the dialogue's so fucking terrible. The chemistry between the husband and the wife, awful. Feels like these two actors met each other 30 seconds ago and they're just trying to figure it out right there on the spot. And I like both the actors, the actress and the actor, in other movies. The guys from Possessor, the heck's his name? The writing is so small on the back of this thing that my old man eyes can barely even see it. Of course, they don't even give you, like, names. Oh, here we go. Sorry, it's underneath. What's his name? Christopher Abbott. He's from Possessor. Does a good job in that. Does a good job here, too, when he's by himself. And Julie Garner. I like her in a lot of other things I've seen her in. But yeah, 3.5 here. And it's because I seen that this movie got shit all over as well. Like, it's sitting at like a 1 point something on Letterboxd. But I think that's way too harsh. There's a lot of good scenes in this. Like, just the beauty and the setting of the forest. It's just so awesome. Just the setting of it, I love. Cabin way out in the middle of, or not cabin, house way out in the buttfuck nowhere. And it's just all forest all around you. It's just beautiful setting, and they capture it perfectly. I love the color work in the movie. This isn't even the 4K, this is just the Blu-ray, and it looked and sounded awesome. I love a lot of the scenes in the movie. Like, I think some of the gore is awesome. When the guy's chewing off his own arm, I was like, ooh, it made me cringe for a minute. There's a lot to love. I like the first time that you see through the werewolf's eyes, the color work on display. But then they were like, oh, we did this really cool thing, so now we need to do it 6 or 7 more times. And that pulled it off. Like, I'm gonna be honest, if this it had a better writer for the script and didn't rehash some ideas over and over again, this would have been more up in the 4, maybe even 4.5 for me. Like, I did enjoy everything, and to be honest, I don't mind that they did something different with Wolfman. We already have Wolfman. We have multiple Wolfman stories. So taking it and doing a different twist on it, I'm okay with that. I like to see something different and something new instead of the same movie rehashed over and over again. So yeah, if you haven't seen Wolfman, this newest one, I would definitely give it a try. You might hate it, and you might like it like me, and you might be like, wow, this is actually not that bad. Alright, next up here, where am I? Next up is number 5. We're cracking the top 5 for this episode. And at number 5, I have the 4K here of The Howling. The Joe Dante directed 1981. Yep. Does this have reversible art? I doubt it, right? Would have been cool, but I thought, no. Scream Factory, man. Oh, God, they pissed me off with their 4Ks. They never do reversible art. And I know it's such a small complaint. I'm going to do a little rant here before I talk about the movie. When I have a slip-covered movie, and it has the exact same art inside, I don't give a shit about the slip. Like, it's pointless. Why? It's just a piece of cardboard. Why do I need that on there? Now, what I do like is when I slide my slip up and it's got, like, other artwork underneath. For some reason, Scream Factory never does it with their 4Ks. It's like, okay, whatever. Just some small complaining there. It's a minor complaint, but I mean, if you're going to charge the premium that you do, just go a little extra. Give us some reversible artwork. That's all I'm asking. But yeah, it comes with the Blu-ray and the 4K. Alright, The Howling. Dee Wallace stars as the lead here, and she's a news reporter. I won't go deep on the story. Everyone's probably seen this one. This is one of the, like, big namers. She is a news reporter, and there's some side story at the beginning that's not really a big deal. But she ends up going with her husband on a little vacation to go away for a bit. And they go to this thing called the Colony. And it ends up being a colony of werewolves. It's pretty simple. There's not much going on here other than that. It's that simple. But this is a 4 from me. And it's because the way they deliver it is just done very well. Like, you can tell Joe Dante is a good director, because he's taking a very lackluster storyline and sticking and making it feel better than it is. That's what I could say for that. It's better than it should be. And I really like how it ends. It's solid. There's a lot of good moments in here. I love the transformation scene. I think it's goes on long, just like they always do in back in the early 80s when they were messing around with the practical. There's like a really good transformation scene that just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. They're using the bubble effect that everyone knows. And it's a colony of werewolves. Her and her husband are figuring it out, finding it out. There's only a couple kills in the movie that are noteworthy. And if this was a little gorier and added in a couple extra kills, this would be another one that goes up to a 4.5 for me. It's just because it only has it just lacks a little bit in those departments, and it's a bit of a shame because it feels like it should be a gore fest by the year it came out and the feel of it. But anyways, yeah, check out Howling. That's my number 5. At number 4, I have a movie I just turned off right before I started to record here, and that's Dog Soldiers. I had never seen this. I had an old DVD of it, and I put it in once, and the picture was so bad on this DVD that I thought there was something wrong with the DVD. Like, the camera work was too close to their faces. It was just, I was like, there is something wrong with this, so I turned it off and never watched it. And then I picked up this 4K, another Scream Factory release here with no reversible artwork. Again, 4K and Blu-ray. And this version, I realized that some of the camera work in it, it's just filmed that way. Some of the shots are a little too close for my liking, but this is still a 4 for me. I just turned this off and I was like, wow, that was actually really freaking good. I enjoyed that a lot. It's a bunch of soldiers. I'll give you a quick sum up. It's a bunch of soldiers in the forest. They're on a training mission, and they end up running into a pack of werewolves, and they end up in a cabin with a girl that's been stuck in this cabin, and there's some little twists and storyline elements there. It has a couple familiar faces. Liam Cunningham from Game of Thrones, he plays Davos. He's in it, and I don't know the name of the other guy, but he's from, like, what else was he in? He's in Event Horizon, if you've seen that. He's one of the crew members on there. Doesn't matter. A couple familiar faces. But everything's good here. Acting's all solid. The one-liners are freaking well-placed and well-written. They're actually thought out. Like, the wolf's about to eat one guy, and he's like, I hope I give you the shits. It's like, just some good one-liners like that give you a quick laugh in between the gore. Gore is excellent. The transformations are good. The werewolves look creepy to me. They're just those tall, elongated ones where their torsos are really long, so they're like fucking 8 feet tall, it looks like. Like, a really creepy looking werewolves. Solid kills, decent story, great action movie. It's not, oh sorry, I shouldn't say it's a great action. It's not really an action movie. It's just a bunch of soldiers trapped in a house trying to defend themselves as the werewolves keep trying to get in. Good stuff. There's a scene where one of the soldiers gets his belly sliced open and all his frickin' innards fall out, and he puts them all back in, and he lives right to the end. They super glue his innards back in. It was just like, oh, that's nasty. But good stuff. If you don't have dog soldiers, pick this up, because honestly, it was a good upgrade as well. Like, it looks really good, makes the DVD look like absolute shit. The DVD was so bad, like I said, I couldn't watch it. So this is a must grab, to be honest, if you don't have the Blu-ray. I'm guessing the Blu-ray is good too. But yeah, pick up Dog Soldiers. It's my number 4. Next up, we got number 3, and I'm eliminating. This is another 4 for me. This is Silver Bullet, another Scream Factory release. Now this one does come with the reversible art, because on Blu-rays, they actually used to care about reversible artwork. 4Ks, they charge you way more and give you the same. Silver Bullet. Freaking excellent, man. One of the best kid performances of all time. Even my wife was even saying this, like Corey Haim in this. He shows the emotion so perfectly in this movie. All the scenes where he's meant to be scared, you can feel his terror in it. It's so awesome. And then I love that he's a crippled boy, small town. It's a whodunit werewolf story. So somebody's knocking off the town members. And if you haven't seen it, it does give you clues. I've seen this movie like 10, 15 times in my life, so I can't remember if I pieced it together the first time I seen it. It's been so long since the first time I seen it. I was a kid. But it does give you clues too. It's a really well done whodunit. And with cool werewolf, cool looking werewolf. I love just a man in a great big suit. It's awesome. I always love a man in a suit werewolf. Um, and yeah, the Corey Haim's performance, it's freaking excellent. Gary Busey's in this, and he delivers a lot of funny lines. I think this is one of his best performances of his career. I think he's excellent in it. I love that him and his sister are trying to figure out who the werewolf is, and just some good brother sister moments in it that are like just heartwarming. I love that his wheelchair, he's crippled. I love that his wheelchair is called the Silver Bullet. So the movie is called Silver Bullet, not just because a silver bullet can kill a werewolf, but that's also the name of his wheelchair. I love that. Just little details that matter. Silver Bullet is a must grab. This came out on 4K. With Scream Factory, I don't usually upgrade my 4Ks. I'm gonna be honest. I keep the blue. If I have the Blu-ray, I usually don't upgrade it to the 4K. I find that they look pretty damn close to the same, and then their 4Ks hardly give you anything extra. So with Scream Factory, I don't usually upgrade. But if I don't have the movie at all, I buy the 4K version. But yeah, Silver Bullet at number 3. And now, at number 1 and 2, I have the 2010 Wolfman, and I have the classic Wolfman. Now, oh man, this is a hard one. These are both 4.5s for me. This is as close to 5s as you can get in my department. It's very controversial, but I'm honestly going to eliminate the original Wolfman. And my first winner is going to be Wolfman from 2010. Now, I know that I'm probably going to get, if I had a ton of viewers, I'd probably get so much hate that I would lose them all and I'd be back to what I have. So thank you to any of you that stick around. The original Wolfman. They're both excellent movies. I'll do them both together. I think that the lead performance in both movies is perfect. Lon Chaney Jr. as the original classic Wolfman here. He's so sad. You can just feel his emotion. He doesn't know what's happening to him. The runtime isn't that long. So they don't have a whole lot of time to show you a lot. It's straight to the points, just like all the Universal Classic monster movies. They don't mess around. But the color work on this 4K, the color work in the movie in general, the fog scenes, everything is awesome. Bela Lugosi makes an appearance. Absolutely awesome shit. What I'll do here is I'll give you a quick, if you haven't watched my episode where I showed off this, I will give you a quick run through of what this actually looks like, this book. It gives you tons of reading. Like, tons. It's hard. It's so big it's hard to hold and flip. So we got Dracula. I'm going to jump to Wolfman here and just show you that. Because that's the movie I'm dealing with. So I might as well showcase that one. Makes sense. Man, it's so hard. I find these movies to be so close for me that I don't really know which one to give it to, but that's why I chose the remake, and I'll explain why in a second here once I'm done talking about the original. So you got your classic Wolfman here. I think it just does the one page. Oh man, this is a heavy ass book. Freaking arms hurt from trying to hold it in the air. No, it gives you multiple pages for Wolfman. Talks all about it. And then I'll show you what they do at the back here for the discs. They put them all in like that, but they come in and out very easily. Not well. Sorry, that makes it sound like I'm complaining. They can't come out. They don't fall out. It's not that. They just come out easily, so that you don't have to touch the discs. That's what I'm trying to say. But I like the layout here. Love all the classic artwork, man. This is a must grab. Honestly, this is number 3,128 of 5,500 limited edition here. So if you don't have it, and I bought this a few months ago, so if you don't have it, probably grab it because it's probably getting close to being gone. Beautiful. Now, the reason why I think I like this Wolfman, which also just got a 4K from Scream Factory, but that I probably will upgrade because this movie is really nice to look at. Lots of great scenes. Now, I think I like this better because first off, I love the four leads here. You got Anthony Hopkins. You have Emily Blunt. Benicio del Toro. Jesus, his name was blanking on me. As the Wolfman in the lead here. And then you have Hugo Weaving as like a Sherlock Holmes detective, sort of. Like, he comes off like that, but not really. He's from Scotland Yard. And I think that this does everything, like, they're two different movies. That's the first thing. Like, it's not exactly the same, but they do take lots of elements that are in this, and they make sure they weave it into this new one. But then they add so much more. Like, it's just deeper. And I think that's why I like it more. Like, it's so hard. I feel like I have to justify why I would ever like this one more than the classic. But in this case, I never thought I would. This was a second time watch. And the first time I watched this, I watched it when it came out. So it's been like 15 years. And I didn't remember liking it that much. And then I watched it this time, and everything is so good. The score is phenomenal. I know some of the CG is weak in spots, but it's also really good in other spots. And it has scenes in it, like when he's in the mental institution, and the doctors doing experiments on him for months, and then they wheel him out into the science where all the scientists are sitting around, and the doctor explains what's wrong with mental patients. I absolutely just love that scene. I think the scene is so good that the doctor's just like, he thinks he's a werewolf, and we're gonna prove to him right here, and this will be the beginning of him understanding that he's not, and blah blah blah, blah. And then he turns into a werewolf and fucking murders the shit out of it. It's so good. Love it all. I love the storyline. I think all the acting's phenomenal. I think everything is phenomenal. This is as close to a 5 for me. It might even be a 5. But I gave it a 4.5. And I think my 5s are like my favorite movies ever made. I don't have a shit ton of 5-star movies. That I kind of saved that for like movies I think go above and beyond all expectations, and they're just masterpieces on every level. That's what I save my 5s for. And this has some flaws. I'm not a huge fan of some of the CG. So that's probably it. That would bring it down to 4.5 for me. But everything is great. If you don't have Wolfman, grab it. Grab the 4K that just came out. It's probably freaking gorgeous to look at. But yeah, that's my winner of my round 1 Werewolf Edition. I'm going to put my winners aside, and after I hit 10, I'm going to put all 10 of the winners against each other, which will be a little different this time now that I got themed ones, because it'll be like all over the place. Like, I might not have, like the last way I was doing it, This was another reason why I switched, is I was always trying to make sure I had like a 5-star movie in. And then it kind of got irritating because it's like, you kind of know my winner every time. If you know my opinion, you're going to know my winner every single time, because there's just some movies they're just better than others. Where this way, I'm throwing in a lot of movies I haven't seen before, and I don't have anything predetermined. I'm just like, pick them out and watch them. So this is a 4.5. The winner of my next episode might only be a 3 for all I know. Like, could end up having no good ones in whatever category I choose. Who knows? But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I hope you stick with me on this. I will stick with this. This is something I enjoy. I enjoyed it the first time, but because of other things, mistakes I was making, I wanted to start fresh and start it fresh. So thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you for round 2.